Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Kayfabe Central podcast. And welcome to our first end of the year awards for this. We're going for WWE this round, and then we will be doing AEW afterwards. We're doing three separate parts for each. But welcome to the Kayfabe Central end of the year awards for pro wrestling. I know myself and Rue have been looking forward to this like all year. I think since I had Rue on the podcast the first time, and I told him we do end of the year awards. He's been looking forward to it. So this is a very exciting podcast. We give our best and worst of pretty much any category you can think of and categories you probably didn't even think of. We're going to be going through that. On this one, we are going to be going over the Technical Skills Awards. Uh, so, uh, yeah, the Technical Skills Awards. I'm going to put all of the what the Technical Skills Awards are in the comments. But yeah, we're gonna go through them. Before we get into that, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the videos, podcasts, and interviews that come to the channel. If you haven't checked out my Charles Mayhem interview yet, go ahead and check that out. And I also have another interview that I'm recording this weekend as well. So make sure you guys have notifications on so you're notified. There's gonna be a lot of content coming to you this week with these end of year awards and post shows and all that good stuff is going to be coming to the KFM Central YouTube channel. So, we're this last stretch of the year. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming at you guys. So make sure you guys are staying tuned for all that good stuff. So, yeah, also make sure you guys check out the Kayfabe Central website as well. That's where I post all my coverage posts, articles, written predictions, all that good stuff is over there as well. And of course, if you don't know who we are, I'm your host Josh. As always, joining me is Rue on Wrestling.
Hey guys.
So yeah, we're gonna jump straight into it. We're not gonna waste too much time on the self promo. I'll plug the rest of the end. You guys know the deal anyway. So let's go ahead and get started with the 2025 End of the Year awards. We're gonna be kicking it off with the best and worst entrances of the year. Uh, I have a few people on this list of worst. So I'll go through a couple and uh I I'll give a warning for a lot of these lists. I have some like LFG people, Evolve people and stuff because I'm the only one who watches that stuff anyway. So um even though like this season of LFG I've barely watched. But so I mentioned LFG because on the first option for worst entrances of the year, I have BJ Ray. Because he came out and just did some weird poses and mannerisms when he came out, and it just looked so stupid. Um, I have Thea Hale's "I Believe" entrance as well.
That's a good one.
Obviously a more recent one, but I just hated everything about it. It didn't make sense for her to do that. And I also have our favorite NXT faction, the Dork State, on here. Their entrance, I don't like their theme song. The way they come out, it's just a ripoff of like the Shield and Retribution, and then they do the screen glitch thing, which is the ripoff from the Wyatts. So there's nothing original about Dark State, and just everything about them is bad. Uh, but the person that I'm going to give the worst entrance of the year award to is main event Jey Uso. Because I got so sick and tired of this entrance very quickly. With them always running it back, they just overdid the hell out of it. While Dark State and Thea Hale and BJ Ray were bad, I'm gonna land on Jey Uso for worst.
That's a good show. For all outside as well, obviously we are unfortunately missing Stu. So do you want me to do Stu's second, or should I go second and we'll do Stu's last?
We'll do Stu's last.
Okay. Well, yeah, about the he feel over here. One's a great show. I completely forgot about that. But as Josh said, I've also just thought ahead of for some of the ones coming up. I just like you with LFG and Evolve. I am the advocate for AAA on here as well. So I've got a few AAA nominations in here. But for the worst one, I don't know if I was just having a bit of a mind blank. I was only one. I was really struggling to think of one, and just at the time, and one that really came to mind because I felt so bad for them, but it was a mixture of horrendous entrance with zero chaos. And part of this I say was on WWE. I've gone for Zelina Vega when she came out on the SmackDown after winning the United States title to minus pop. It was one of the most awkward entrances I have ever seen live on TV. And I felt so bad for her, but it was horrendous. That was the one I came to. I do like the Thea Hale shout though.
Yeah. Um, Going on to best awards. Oh, actually, did you want to go through Stu's? Actually,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll go for Stu. Stu's just went a route that actually I completely forgot about, but he is low key right probably for what it signified in the story. So Stu's worst entrance he's given to Travis Scott at WrestleMania.
You know what? That's fair. That's completely
Yeah,
fair.
valid.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in agreement with that one. I hated Travis Scott even being a part of that,
Yep.
let alone his long ass entrance. Um, Now moving on to best entrances. So I have a couple written down here as well. One that I feel like not a lot of people pay much attention to, but Fatal Influence with Jasmine Nix. I really like their entrance. I love how they just um saunter down to the ring and just their presence. With it being with Lainey Ray doesn't feel the same. I think Jasmine Nix added a lot to that group. You know, she was like the hot, bitchy girl that fit perfectly in Fatal Influence. I liked their entrance. I also have Naomi from SummerSlam when she came out with her dad. I think that was really cool. It was probably really cool for her. Yeah, so I have that. I have CM Punk from WrestleMania 41 when they had the video package of This Fire Burns, and then they had Living Color play, and he was walking out with Paul Heyman. Just everything about that entrance was so damn good, and I
Yep.
loved it. Um, but the winner that I'm going with for this year is Tiffany Stratton from WrestleMania 41, which she came out in the Barbie doll box. It just worked so perfectly for her. And like, I was so glad that they did that because I was like, they need to do that with Tiffany Stratton. And from what I heard, she wanted to as well a while before. And she finally got to do it at the grandest stage of them all. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and give this to Tiffany Stratton.
That's okay. Well, I actually completely forgot about that. Plus he also comes up later on the Stu's ones as well. For me, like you had a couple, I had down Punk's entrance at Mania. That was incredible to see. I forgot about Naomi's one. That was really, really cool. One that I've chucked down here as well is Penta's debut on Netflix. The first time people getting to see him, I thought that was incredible. But for me, I did mention that some AAA was going to be involved here. We were speaking last night, and I told you all about my new boy, Lapaka. It's Lapaka at Triple Mania coming out in the Day of the Dead, getting danced to the ring, just absolutely vibing. Lapaka for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I obviously you're the AAA guy. I've only seen a couple entrances from him, and I don't even fully remember his entrance at Triple Mania, to be honest with you. That's
Oh,
something I
so
gotta
good.
go back and watch. But he did seem really cool and just like he seemed like the crowd just adores him. So that's good for him.
Absolutely. And then for Stu, here one as well that I completely forgot about, but I actually totally agree with that he's got down here. I think it probably did get forgotten about because of it wasn't like for a big crowd, but the nostalgia of it was incredible. He's gone for Finn Balor's return to NXT, which I think is a good shout because that was incredible to see at the time. So if he's gone Finn Balor,
Yeah, that's a very good pick because like he was like completely different Finn Balor when he came out on
yep,
that NXT episode. And you know, he's just man, Finn, I just wish he could go back to that, to be honest.
me
You know,
too.
go back to that old school Finn Balor and you know, just forget about the Judgment Day.
Yep,
Um but moving on to worst and best clothing slash attire of the year. Now for those that don't know, I am sort of big on fashion and like a lot of times if you know a wrestler is walking in wearing a goofy outfit, I'll write it down and be like, oh, this outfit was atrocious, or I'll bring it up on the poster or whatever the case may be. So for worst, I have Drake Moreau from LFG. And if you don't know what his attire looks like, it's like these overalls and these just got some weird things going on the overalls, and it just looks terrible, and it should not be wrestling gear. So I have him on as it's not who I'm going with. Um, I also have Charlotte Flair, the Raw after Royal Rumble. Um, and I think she was wearing like this yellow thing. It was supposed to be a jacket, but it was also a crop top. Um, and it just looked stupid. It just looked so wacky and dumb. And like I'm not talking about like Seth Rollins wacky. I'm talking about just wacky in general. It just wasn't good. Uh, but I think that what I'm gonna go for is Nia Jax from Survivor Series War Games. That was an atrocious gear that she was
Oh
wearing.
yeah.
I didn't like that at all, and that's kind of what topped the list. I couldn't really remember any other like outfits that were god awful. Like if this were 2024, Seth Rollins would probably be all over this list. But you know, I'm gonna go with Nia Jax on this one.
No, that's a good show. So for me, the worst, I actually really struggle with these. I'm the kind of complete opposite in life as well, that I just fashion isn't something for me. I wear black and more black, and that's pretty much it. But for worst, I've only got one down, but some of the ones you said they were actually very good, especially in that Nia Jax shout. Mine's it's a mixture of the entrance and the actual attire itself. Because I thought it just looked so goofy. I think it was meant to be cool. It wasn't, and I've gone for the War Raiders attire at WrestleMania when they came out wearing that like Clash of Clans outfit. It was very, very strange. The one where it should have been the TLC match for SmackDown, but wasn't. So I've chalked them in there.
I'm trying to look for their gear at WrestleMania right now.
Oh, it
Oh,
was
oh God. Oh God. Why did I never like I mean I guess it suits them in a way, but yeah, no, it's still not good.
they're the only ones that it made sense on, and the fact that it made sense and still looked bad, God knows if that had been like another team that had to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was awful. But Stuart here, he's actually funny because it's actually for an entrance that you mentioned before, but he's going for the attire from it. Is he's put in Tiffy in the Barbary? I'm assuming that's the Barbie outfit, maybe.
Oh, did
I
he go
don't
for
quite.
that worst?
Oh my God, I've totally got away. But it's because his was best then worst. I'm reading it the wrong way
Oh, okay.
around. Sorry for giving it away. His
No
worst
worries.
is Dominic. Do you know this one? Dominic's cow costume.
What? I don't remember that.
Dominic's cow.
I did read that actually on
Is
his
it just the black and white he wears?
what was it, a
All
cow
right.
costume?
Yeah. Yeah, Dominic's cow costume.
Oh, I see what I don't think it's that bad. It's just the vest, really. Yeah, I see what he
Doesn't work for
means
Stu.
though. I don't think it's that bad. I think it suits him. Um,
Uh,
for best, I have quite a few. And so some of these are gonna be very specific. So you guys are just gonna have to Google it and you'll see what I mean. Like this one, Stephanie Vaquer on NXT on May 13th.
okay.
Um, if you Google it, you'll understand what I mean. And yeah, so Stephanie Vaquer on NXT May 13th was a great, outfit that she wore. Um,
I'm to Google this.
so Rue's searching it up right now. Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
of
exactly.
course you would say that.
Another one that I have is Rhea Ripley on the August 18th Raw. For very similar reasons. Um, I think that was a very good outfit, and again, like Rue's doing, he's gonna Google it. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and Google it.
You've got
Yeah,
a theme going on here.
yeah. I have another Rhea Ripley one, but Rhea Ripley from WrestleMania 41.
Oh, yeah, I
I
remember
think
that
her
one.
gear was really good there. But the winner I'm going with for best attire was Bianca Belair at WrestleMania 41 when she
Okay,
had
yeah.
all the roses. I think that just worked perfectly for her, and knowing that she makes her own gear as well is just ridiculous that she took the time
Yeah.
to make that. So I'm gonna go with Bianca Belair at Mania 41.
That's actually a very good shout. It's weird you bring that up actually because I recently rewatched WWE Unreal with one of my pals, and and I remember that really vividly now because that's also a big part of it, talking about Bianca. For me, as I said, I'm not a very fashion statement type person, so I've gone with the one I found the coolest. For me personally, because it meant something to me, and it is Rhea Ripley. She seems to be getting a shout out a lot here. But it's for her Survivor Series gear. It's the Terrifier inspired gear with the mask. Terrifier is one of my favorite franchises. I absolutely love it. So I love this outfit. I thought it was very, very cool. So I've chucked Rhea Ripley in there for me. And obviously, without me, obviously already spoiling it, Stu has gone for Tiffany, and I'm assuming it's the Barbie house one.
No, I think he's actually talking about
Oh God, okay.
the berry, like she had literally had like berries on her outfit. Uh
Oh wait,
yeah,
yes, yeah, I'm remembering that now.
yeah, I think that's what he's referring to.
Right,
So that was a really good outfit as well. I enjoyed
yeah.
that one as well. Um, so moving on to best and worst signature maneuvers of the year. So for worst,
No, I just had recent Stu's. That's why.
this is where it's gonna get a little bit interesting. So, like obviously, oh by the way, for outfits of the year, shout out to Selena Vega. She always has really good outfits.
Yeah, yeah, true.
So shout out to her. Anytime she does like the cosplay stuff, she has some really good stuff. But in terms of signature maneuvers, anybody who does the playmaker is just it's just a bad move in general. I've seen some people this year do it, and I don't think anybody should because it was never a good move, and it's still not a good move. Um, this is where I'm gonna get some people heated, and this may be a hot take. I have Ilya Dragunov's H bomb on here. And I have it on here because it's just, I don't know, it feels like it's one of those moves where you'll hit a move and then if you want to keep your opponent down, you hit it and then they kick out at two. It doesn't feel like it should end a match. I feel like he should keep the Torpedo Moscow to end the match. And or maybe get like another finisher as well to add on to that. I just don't see the H bomb as an actual finisher, and he just like pretty much just collapses on top of the person, pretty much. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of the H bomb as a move in general. If it was just like a move that he did regularly, but not as a finisher, it'd be fine. But as a finisher, it's just I don't find it any that cool. Um, but the winner for worst signature maneuver of the year, Jey Uso's spear. Uh, because I think we all know why. It's just god awful. And spoiler alert, Jey Uso is gonna be on a lot of my list this year. And it's not a lot of it is gonna be good. But man, it's like he didn't even try, and it feels like it's getting intentionally worse as weeks go by. It just feels like it keeps getting worse each week. Um, I don't understand why he keeps doing the spear. I don't know why anybody in the back hasn't told him he should stop. But yeah, it's not a good spear.
Yeah, it's probably the right answer. I should have prefaced this entire thing by saying that the way I've done my picks is I haven't always gone for the really obvious one because I knew it would get brought up. Because obviously, Jey Uso Spear's probably one of the worst things in WWE. So I've done that for a few of them, apart from the odd thing where it's just blatantly the worst out there. So for me, I couldn't actually think of too many other ones. You know, you said Jails of Spears definitely on there. But for the worst, I've gone for Bailey's Rose Plan. I've never liked that
Yes.
move.
Oh my God. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I've never liked that move. It
No.
looks so bad.
Yeah.
So that was Bailey in general has just got like she's had that, and the Bailey to belly was never, and it was never big on that either. Um, yeah, she's always something like great in ring, great character, but she's always lacked a kind of definitive move for me. And the Rose Plant certainly isn't it. Um,
No.
and then for Stu, this is what I was laughing at. Like, he put Otis is Worm. Dot dot dot. Just stop.
Yeah, I that one needs no explanation. With Bailey though, it's like the Bailey to Belly used to end matches when she was the
hmm
hugger, and then she got rid of the hugger gimmick, and now it's just a move that everybody kicks out of.
Yep.
And like you said, the Rose Plant's not a good finisher. It's very similar to the Playmaker, and it's like it's not good. Um,
No.
so I think she does need to change up her finisher. I don't think she will. I think she's just gonna continue using it. But yeah, I'm completely with you. I completely forgot about Bailey's Rose Plant. Um, for best signature maneuvers, though, I have a couple here. I have Stephanie Vacquer's Devil's Kiss. Because Booker T just made that the one of the biggest things in wrestling.
That's sick.
And it's just awesome. And obviously, Wade Barrett called it the bouncy bouncy at one point in time. That was hilarious. So it's always fun when she does that move, for obvious reasons, like when she did it alongside Rhea Ripley. So yeah, the Devil's Kiss on there. Braun Breaker's Spear, of course, is one of the best signature maneuvers in the business right now in general. Especially the one on Carlito. So
Yeah.
I love that one. Um, Javon Evans OG Cutter is really good, and I'm torn between the OG Cutter and the Soul Snatcher for best move, and I couldn't land on one, but it's between those two because the Soul Snatcher is so damn good. There are times where you tell she's a little bit off, and the opponent kind of has to dive into it. Um, Whereas like the OG Cutter is just like it's just on point every single time, no matter where they are. But those two take the cake for me.
Well, absolutely, because I had the two of them down as well, but I didn't go for them because I knew someone was going to go for them because they're so good, the
Yeah.
moves. Other honorable mentions, ironically, the other move of Stephanie Vaquer's, her like weird spinal tap looking thing,
Oh yeah.
is mental. I've also got down when it connects with the right opponent. I've got down Aleister Black's Black Mass. Big fan.
Yeah.
The one that I was laughing at, and I knew you were going to say, I've got the H bomb because I totally can understand your point of view. I love thinking of it from the fact of like a legit point of view. Like if you did that to someone in the street and just came down on them with your
Yeah.
elbow, you're caving in their skull. But it was funny. You told me kind of I think yesterday when we did the pod, you're like, "Oh, I've got something for Elia," and I don't know why. In my heart, I was like, "I bet it's the H bomb,"
Yeah.
because I knew I had it on my list. So I've got H bomb. But for me, the best I've gone for is one that over the I've seen him do it the last couple of years, but getting to see him doing it on TV now is incredible. I grew up, and I've said before, massive Jeff Hardy kid. And getting to see Leon Slater's Swanton 450 is just 450. Whatever you want to call it is ridiculous. It's maybe not the most impactful move, but the way he does it with the athleticism he's got, and it hits like a part of my inner child. Seeing it on TV again and being sort of homage to in a different style with even an extra flip chucked in there.
Yeah.
I love it. And see, especially when he does it like across the ring and all that, because that's a normal thing that a person can do. Yes, I've got Leon Slater's all like when he did it off the top of the not the cage, but the pillar on TNA in the X Division Ultimate X match.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Like the
Yeah, I
we
remember.
does it off of that, yeah, like stuff like this. I've got Leon Slater's 450 Fox, well, Swanton in here. Sorry,
Till 450 Frog Splash would be
I've been,
ridiculous.
I've been mental.
If someone ever pulls that out, yeah, I'm done. Like a
I,
450 Frog Splash is ridiculous.
I know. And Stacey's got an interesting one because I think he has gone for an actual signature move. So he's got Sami Zayn's Blue Thunder Bomb shot
Hmm.
down, which as a signature, I think I like the Blue Thunder Bomb. It's a bit as the whole point is though it did weirdly end a match this year, didn't it? Was it like carrying
It
cross
ended a
someone?
couple actually.
Did it? Yeah.
Yeah, like one or two. Yeah.
So he's got. I've always enjoyed. I enjoy Sami Zayn's move. In fact, I probably could have chucked the Helluva Kick chucked in here in the honorable mentions as well. Um, but yeah, so Blue Thunderbomb, yeah, solid move. Yeah.
I kind of feel like, and I know we're talking about WWE right now. I kind of feel like Takeshita has a better Blue Thunder Bomb than Sammy. He just does it so good. I kind of feel like Takeshita might have a better haluva kick than Sammy as well. He just does it so good and it's so impactful. Sammy used to
Yeah,
have a really good haluva kick, but like this past year is like he's really good. Don't get me wrong, but I
yeah,
feel like it's kind of toned down a little bit on the impactfulness.
yeah.
Well, he's somehow gonna hear this and he's gonna prove me wrong and kick someone's head off next time he wrestles. So it's probably
Yeah,
gonna.
exactly.
Um, so that's the best and worst signature maneuvers. We also have the best and worst spot. So best spot or worst botch section here. So the worst botches, I have a couple. Uh, Firstly, I have the Zoe Stark missile dropkick spot.
Oh yeah,
Obviously, that was horrendous. Like it, you could see immediately after, like it was done. She was done. Um, we have the uh Kalani Jordan frog splash off the ladder and completely misses. I believe this was that stand and deliver, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
She jumps off. I can't remember. She jump off a ladder. She jumped for a frog splash and completely missed and connected with the ladder. Um, and or something along those lines. But it was a terrible botch. You could tell it was a botch, and it just looked very painful. Um, I don't know if many are gonna remember this, but Lyra Valkyria's a wardrobe malfunction at the Royal Rumble. Uh,
yeah.
so I like I get shit happens, but I that was pretty bad at the Rumble. Um, I honestly don't know what I'm going for as worst botch because also on here I have a very recent one. The Rhea and Zelina botch in the mixed tag match this past last week on SmackDown.
Yeah.
That looked disgusting, dude.
It could have gone so badly as well.
So badly. You know what? I think that one might take the cake, if not the Zoe Stark missile dropkick one. But that Rhea and Zelina one was bad. They just did not have a good night.
No, that is a good one. And I like it because it's different from mine because I thought mine was going to be the obvious one that I've gone for. So I'm glad it's a bit different. I didn't have a few done. I just had this one. When trying to put it down, I've gone for somewhat recent one in the last couple of months. It's the Tiffany, Jade, and Nia miss split
Right,
on
yeah.
SmackDown.
All right, you know what? No, I'll give that one the award.
That
Yeah.
that one, I think, especially for just sheer awkwardness of this looks bad on the business as a whole. I've
Yeah.
gone for that one, and it's funny because I've gone on to Stu. And this one, all the others have been funny. This is one we spoke about yesterday, and I have to say I actually just kind of disagree with Stu. Because I don't think it's the worst botch, and I don't think it's specifically who you said. Fault you said. So Stu's gone for James Taylor counting Blake Monroe for the free Theo Hill, giving free or Hill the title. We spoke about this last night. Yes, it's a botch. But in comparison, like the ref did the better, I think, of counting the free. I think it would have probably maybe made this list if he hadn't, and then we could be talking about it in a similar fashion. I think to the Tiffany. So
Yeah.
I think the Tiffany and Niall one's a lot worse because it just looks a lot worse. Because at that point you're showing the scriptedness of the business,
Yeah.
whereas the ref actually counting the free legitimate, well, not he was meant to, is legit.
Yeah.
So that's where my stance on it. Anyway, but it is a huge botch, but I wouldn't say it was the ref's fault.
Yeah, I'll give it to the Nia, Tiffany, and Jade. I don't know why I didn't write that one down because it did come to my mind. But yeah, absolutely, that one takes the cake for sure.
Yeah.
So best spots, I have just like three, four written down here. Um, I have the KO and Cody ladder spot at the Royal Rumble. So brutal. That where Cody hit his head, Kevin hit his head. That was just brutal. I honestly thought they were both actually hurt. Well, we know Kevin Owens was, and we know the neck issues he's been
Yeah.
dealing with. So that is ridiculous that he wrestled that match with those issues. Um, the Damian Priest Falcon Arrow off the stage to Finn Balor. Um,
Okay.
I enjoyed that spot a lot. That was really cool. Um, and then I mentioned this earlier. Braun Breaker spearing Carlito. It's so good. Just the camera angle, the way he ran down, he like disappeared off the camera when he did that spear, and it was just amazing. Which I don't know what I'm gonna give this to. I also have the Kevin Owens Fisherman Buster on a chair to Sami Zayn at the Chamber. I was there live for that spot, and that was ridiculous. Um, I honestly don't know what I'm giving this to. It'd probably be the KO and Cody ladder spot or the Breaker spearing Carlito because that was just so cool.
Well, maybe my one will help you make up your mind because the one that I went for, again, I spoke about how I'd just been watching WWE Unreal again recently. And for the one I've gone for is actually the Cody and Kevin ladder spot.
Oh wow.
That's the one I went for. I thought that, because I'm in the same vein as you, I thought they were dead.
Yeah.
So just straight out, and especially looking back, as you said, knowing what Kevin Owens was dealing with at the time is absolutely insane. Some other, like I said, other cool ones you definitely chucked in there. I'm sure there'll be some that I've forgotten about, like coming to mind. And you said like that Damon Priest one, I remember, yeah, that was cool. But yeah, I don't know what that Kevin and Cody was just stuck in my mind ever since that happened almost a year ago now, which is
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Um, and then Stu here, I'm trying to remember which one this is. Um, so we might need to try to remind me. So he said Drew McIntyre onto the steel steps. Now I'm going to assume was this maybe in his feud with Damien Priest potentially? Was it the one where he did the at Mania when they had the street fight and he did something?
I can't remember. The only steel step spot I remember McIntyre taking that was brutal was last year at
That's what I
Bad
was thinking as
Blood.
well. Yeah,
So
that's what I was
I
thinking as
I
well.
don't know if maybe Stu thought that that was this year.
We'll need to ask him off camera which one he's talking about. The only thing I can think of is potentially his street fight with Damien Priest. That's the only thing
Yeah,
I can think of, but there's
yeah.
nothing that sticks out in
I
my mind.
forgot that match even happened, by the way. I
I
completely forgot that match happened.
think point proven. But yeah, I thought the same. I thought about the spot at Hell in a Cell, which if we were this last year, yes, definitely, because that was one of the most ridiculous spots I've ever seen.
Oh man, my back hurt after
It,
watching that.
it was the fact that Drew came out and was like, "I am never doing that again," because like the parameters of like could be paralyzed, could be safe. We don't
Yeah,
know. But yeah, we'll need to ask Stu on that one.
yeah, for sure. So I feel like we're kind of just breezing through these. But we have most overrated and most underrated of the year. So I have quite a bit noted down for here. So overrated, I have Jey Uso written down. Um, I am so sorry, but I have, as much as I like him and as much as he's really fun and I love his catchphrase, I have LA Knight under overrated. Because man, people act like this guy's the second coming of Stone Cold when he's not. That's just not it. The guy's like 40 something. It's not going to happen, guys. And even if he wins a world title, he's going to be a transitional champion. He's not going to have like a year-long run or anything like that. And he's not the second coming of Stone Cold or The Rock or anything like that. So that's the reason I've put him under overrated. To no fault of her own, I have Julia on here because she came in as like the a big like name, and everyone was hyping her up that she was gonna be really good, and she had a good stint in NXT, and then she went up to the main roster, and she just died down. Obviously, she can't speak well enough English, so they got Kiana James for her, who is a good talker, and still did nothing for her. So I gotta put Julie on here. Um, and of course, I am sorry, Bella Army, but I'm putting Nikki Bella on here because I never thought she could wrestle, never thought she was good on the mic. I don't think that she should be in the world title picture or any title picture in general. I have no interest in seeing her wrestle or anything like that. If you wanted to put her as a manager, Stu brought that up on the podcast before, then fine, so be it. But I still don't think she's good on the mic either way. So I I think I'm gonna give this to Jey Uso in the end. But all these other names are very close, especially Nikki Bella.
Yeah, Nikki Bella's a good show. One that kind of hurts my soul, but I can't disagree on, is starting to become LA Knight. I still love LA Knight. I want to put that to the side, but I do agree with you. I want to see him at some point get it, just so he can tick it off. But I totally agree. It's not like we're going to see multiple reigns. It's not going to be a long reign. And this year, I think more than ever, I think I've really, really shown that. This is one of the few ones where, as I said, I tried to go out there on different. This is one where there's no argument for me. It's someone who at the beginning of the year I was very defensive of. Now I'm not. It's Jey Uso. It just is Jey Uso. Like there's no see particularly seeing storylines that have evolved without him. Specifically, I'm talking about Gunther here. Shows you how much the beginning of this year has not worked. I actually remember, not off topic, you asked me in our first ever podcast, do I think the JSU experiment has worked or failed? And at the time, I was still like, I don't know. We'll kind of have to wait and see. I will flat out say now it's failed. 100%. It has. And I think JSU falls into that category of the most overrated.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously we have the underrated. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Because it's Stu.
I
Stu.
I haven't picked. Oh shit, Stu. I'm so sorry, Stu. I'm sorry,
To be
Stu.
fair, to be fair, Stu's in agreement with us here. He, at least for one of the ones we said and you said, he's gone LA Knight is his most
Okay,
overrated.
there we go. There we go. Yeah. So we have the underrated. Now, for this one, I just wrote down a bunch of people that I think that are underrated, and I didn't even pick an actual winner. So I'm just gonna list everyone that I wrote down. A very unpopular one that a lot of people might not have on their list, but Lexus King. I like Lexus King. I like this like piece of shit gimmick that he has. He's just I tend to get behind the pieces of shit, the characters, and he's just that. Like when him and Miles Bourne were doing the thing, it was stupid, but the lines he had in that feud were just hilarious. Like he was like, "Oh, I heard you're blind as well," and Miles Bourne was like, "I'm not blind," and he sprays mace in his eyes, and he's like, "Oh, now you are." I'm like, "Oh shit, what the?" Like, okay, that was
I
kind of
love
funny. So I like Lexus King. Carmelo Hayes obviously is a big one as well. We know he's, getting some big shine this week on SmackDown. I'm not going to spoil anything. Um, Gargano and Ciampa, I think are still very, very underrated, especially as singles competitors. I honestly think, and I heard someone say Ciampa isn't world title material. I completely disagree. I think this is a guy that could win the world
You've
title.
watched NXT?
Right? Like I think that this is a guy that definitely could, if he had the right writing and booking behind him, definitely could win a world title. Gargano, I can kind of see why you would say that. He does feel like more of a, mid-card star kind of thing, and that's no shade at Johnny Gargano. Some people are just built for that style. Um, I have Grayson Waller on here as well because Grayson Waller is just so underrated. And it sucks that he's stuck in this limbo with the New Day. And yeah, man, I feel like he should be setting up to be the next like Miz and just be that top heel of the company. And he's not. He's just stuck with the New Day, which is a terrible decision. So hopefully he can get out of that limbo at some point. I also have Damian Priest on this list. I don't understand the hate for Damian Priest. I really don't. This is a guy like since he came up to the main roster or even since he was in NXT, I loved Damian Priest. I thought this guy could be a world champion. He ended up winning a world title. Um, but I don't understand the hate. He's good. He can talk on the mic. He's very natural on the microphone as well. So I don't understand why people hate him. Um, Now this one, I'm gonna catch a couple people off guard. And bad booking aside, I think that she has improved a lot this year, despite her booking, and that's Nia Jax. I think that she's gotten a little bit better, especially with this pairing with Lash Legend. I think she's getting a tad bit better and she's becoming a little bit more tolerable. And she's getting a little better on the microphone. She's getting a little better in the ring. The Annihilator finisher is still a little bit iffy, because it depends on like how she hits it or how devastating it is. I know like one week she just did put nothing behind it at all. Um, but I do think Nia Jax is kind of underrated. But that's my list of people. I don't know who I'm going with for the winner.
I mean, I think the Grayson Waller shirt there is really good because see particularly after from me watching that Chris Van Vliet episode where I was like, oh man, this guy he's like so nice yet still an arsehole, and I loved every like moment of that.
Yeah,
Some of the other ones, so let me get my list back up. Some of the other ones I want to add into there for me, I have Ethan Page. The guy's was an undercard wrestler for most of the time, AEW kind of around there, and just came into NXT, and he's one of my favorite parts of NXT.
absolutely.
Absolutely love Ethan Page. One, a very recent addition to this list, and one I'm very happy to add on here. It was actually so close to making it. For me, is Kendall Gray. She's
Yeah.
she's you want to talk about LA Knight talking about the next coming of Christ. That's Kendall Gray to me right now. For someone who has like zero experience, pretty much, or very limited, to see her in the ring, wild,
Yeah, she's someone I
wild to
forgot
me.
to add to my list. But
Yeah,
yeah,
she's so good, so good. So Kendall with me. The one though for me, and it's funny because I actually did a video on this recently, and because this guy just makes everyone in look amazing when he loses, and everything that he does, he puts his body on the line, and that's JD McDonough. I've put him in as my full nominee. There's just the guy I think finally starting to get recognized for what he does for everything for the business, and how good he is. And you know what? I'm actually so glad that he got to be a little bit a part of history this year as being John Cena's final ever pinfall on Monday Night Raw. So that's a cool spot for him. So I've gone JD McDonald here.
nice. Yeah, Kendall and JD are two people that I completely forgot to add to my list, but absolutely I agree. Those two are very, very underrated. Especially JD McDonough, man. I hope that, because obviously he's injured again right now. He's on the
Yeah.
shelf, which is unfortunate, but I hope eventually he can come back fully healthy and win a mid-card title or something like that at some point down the road because he absolutely deserves it. Um,
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
yeah,
And
we have
it's
Stu.
funny. Yeah, Stu's is probably not going to come as a surprise to you. He's got a Dragon Lee, which you know what, can't even disagree with because the guy is class. And
Yeah.
you said his match last night with Vikingo was
Oh, so
insane.
good. Yeah.
So I can't even disagree with that.
Yeah, so good. I obviously we didn't do a post show for a AAA or anything, but that
Oh,
is a very weird pairing that they've set up there with Vikingo and Omos and
oh yeah,
very weird pairing there.
very strange.
So I don't know how that's gonna go. I was thinking that we were gonna get an AJ Styles appearance on AAA last night and he was gonna save
Oh,
Dragon Lee,
that'd be
but
cool.
maybe eventually we'll get that. Um We then have the biggest upgrade and biggest downgrade of the year. So, in terms of downgrade, I have three people written down. The New Day, man, that heel turn could have been so good. And we're going to be talking about heel turns that could have been really good. But that heel turn could have been so good because they set it up perfectly. They kicked Big E out of the group. That was kind of our notion that, don't stress about Big E coming back because he's not. That's what that segment was. And from then on, it was just bad. It was just terrible. So yeah, the New Day biggest downgrade. Someone that people completely forgot about, probably Eddie Thorpe had a very, very big downgrade this year. He went from being in the, NXT title picture, North American title picture, whatnot, and went to getting released and then just bashing the company or whatever. So Eddie Thorpe definitely on here. And again, to no fault of her own, but Julia as well. Started off really good in NXT and then kind of just went downhill as soon as she got up to the main roster. Um, I'd probably give this to either the New Day or Julia, to be honest, because those two just, man, they fell hard.
Yeah, the Julia one there particularly is a good shout. I actually forgot to put her on my list, which she definitely should be. I've got a couple of different ones as well for me. So for the biggest downgrade, the first one I've put in is JC Mateo, specifically coming from Jeff Cobb, because
Yeah,
the guy Jeff Cobb was a monster. He's a beast. Whereas he's now the most awkward looking one of the MFTs.
yeah,
And even when he came in as Jeff Cobb. He looked like a beast. And then the next SmackDown, it completely changed. Um, so JC Mateo for me, I've chosen it, and then the one I've gone for, uh, just because of the position that she should be in currently, And especially with the way she was brought in, it looked like they were very much going to be getting behind her. And it's just not quite happened. I've gone for Jordan Grace
Oh,
coming in from being the juggernaut in TNA. I know she still is, but she's the juggernaut that loses all the time now in
yeah.
NXT. And so she easily could have won multiple titles by now had been up there. So Jordan Grace is the biggest one for me. And Stu's chucked in one heel, which until probably the last couple of months, I would have been like, yeah, he's probably up there. He probably still is, but I think recently he particularly not the group have been amazing. He's put Solo Sikoa in here. What do you give it? I could kind of see, especially
Yeah.
considering where Solo was over the last couple of years. But I might say the guy's on fire at the minute. I love him.
He's getting better, but
Yeah,
I'm kind of in agreement with Stu here because
yeah,
ever since he lost that match on the Raw premiere on Netflix to Roman Reigns, he hasn't been the same since.
no, not at
And
all.
you know, this feud with the Wyatt Six isn't helping him at all. Because the Wyatt Six aren't that good either. You know, he's getting much better on the mic. I'll give him that. But yeah, I gotta agree with Stu. I think Solo did have a pretty big downgrade this year.
Yeah.
Um, but in terms of people who had a the biggest upgrade, I have quite a bit of people listed down here. Miles Bourne, you know,
Hmm.
went from being like this, you know, the last resort in the North Dakota Catch Crew to being the number one contender for the NXT title, facing Obafemi, and then getting out of the NQCC. And you know, he's just made a name for himself outside of that. And he's doing good things in NXT. Um, it's funny that she's on this list and not on my underrated, but Kendall Gray is on here. She's had a really big upgrade recently.
Yeah.
You know, just being from Evolve and then all of a sudden winning the Iron Survivor and getting a shot at JC Jane. She's had a huge upgrade as well. Bronson Reed is someone else that I
Hmm.
put on here as well. He's got a big upgrade this year since joining the Vision. Uh, Raquel Rodriguez as well has gotten a big upgrade. She's gotten so much better this year, and I think there's just bigger things to come for her in the future as well. As much as it kind of kills me to say it, Jey Uso had a pretty big upgrade this year. You know, from going to just being like IC
Yeah.
champion or whatever, and then winning the Royal Rumble, and then beating Gunther at WrestleMania or whatnot. Realistically, he had a pretty big upgrade this year. And it would be wrong for us to not mention that at least. Sol Ruka as well has had a big upgrade this year, facing Bailey, having the match against Bliss and Flair on SmackDown with Zarya. Um, Dominic Mysterio as well had a huge upgrade, and I'm either going with Dominic Mysterio or the person who was the third wheel in multiple factions, two factions, three factions, and then went from being the second wheel in another faction, and then all of a sudden winning the NXT Women's Championship twice. JC Jane is who I'm going with, and I honestly think I might give this to JC Jane because I think JCJ needs her flowers, and I think I'm gonna give it to her here. You know, she had one of the biggest upgrades in the WWE. Like Dom has always been Dom. Like I've always loved Dom, so I'm gonna give this to JC Jane.
I absolutely love that show. I didn't even think about that, and I think JC is absolutely one of the correct answers. Shot to nail because I said it, we all said it. I was like, oh, she's won. She'll lose that belt in a week to Jordan Grace or whoever or Blake Monroe, and not she's and every single time she gets in that ring, I'm more impressed each time. Every single one in that list, by the way, is a fantastic shout. Not one of those I would disagree with at all. And what I quite like about this as well, most of the ones we've got is like mentions or what we've got down are ones the other person doesn't have. So it's actually quite cool. But
Yeah,
there's only one there that we had the same, and that was Dominic. And I've said kind of upgrading to pretty much main event status. Like he can now. Like he's gone toe to toe with John Cena. Triple A mega champion. Dominic is solidified. I'm so happy to see where he's came. In a similar fashion, he said to JC Jane there, I've also shot Stephanie Vaquero in there coming from relative unknown, had a great match with Mercedes Moné in AEW, then came to WWE and has now had a hell of a year.
Yeah.
Chucked in there. One which I found quite funny because you could probably chuck this guy on biggest downgrade and biggest upgrade in the same freaking year. I've gone for Gunther because
Yeah.
losing to Jey Uso and then becoming the final boss
Yeah.
pretty much in the one year. But the one I'm going to go for, and I'm actually very surprised, you didn't have it on the list, and it's one who just shocked me and I was so impressed with was Naomi going from the glow to
Yeah.
caution. Yeah, Naomi really, really impressed me. I always feel bad saying I'm so sad he got cut short because he got cut short for an amazing reason, for Naomi. But I cannot wait to see her return when she does.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I completely forgot to put Naomi on the list as well. But yeah, I agree with that. I think Naomi definitely could. Um, it's good to see the women's division dominating these
Oh
rankings.
yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
JC
They've had a
Jane
great year.
and Naomi.
Yeah,
So yeah, we also
definitely.
have best and worst ring work of the year. So I forgot about Stu again, didn't I?
It's all good. I was going to say it once you finish anyway. He's also going for Stephanie Vaquero, which is one we've said
Okay,
there.
fair enough. Um, I keep forgetting about Stu's thing. I apologize, Stu. He's gonna watch this and be like, "What
I know, but like you
the?"
assholes.
But best and worst ring work of the year. So for worst, I have Jay Uso on here. I don't have to elaborate too much on the Jay Uso side of things. Nikki Bella as well, I have on here. She has not been good in ring, and some LFG people. So I have Tatiana Dumas on here. Now, her gimmick on LFG, for anyone that doesn't watch LFG, was or I don't even know if it was supposed to be gimmick or if this was just actually the case, but she would put on a shitty performance, and then the judges would tell her that, you need to step this up, and she's like, okay, now I got a fire lit under my ass, and then she had another performance, and the judges would tell her the same thing, like it's bad, it's shit, and she'd be like, okay, I have a fire lit under my ass, and it'd just be the same thing repeated, and she just sucked the entire show. So there's that. And BJ Ray, I never thought was good in the ring. He only, had like a couple good one-liners and on LFG and had a couple good moments, but in ring he just wasn't good.
Nah, that's absolutely valid. I have a couple for me chucked in here as well. Some of them have already said. I think Jairus was on there. Nikki Bella, definitely. I'm just going to be very harsh here, and you know me. I've chucked in Cutler James because and then
Yeah.
I've also put in Jasmine next, which is a bit harsh, but it just wasn't great. But the one I've gone for is because of the position she's been put in, and every single time it's just not really ahead of. There's been better than expected matches, but I think it's more because of the opponent, and even the matches they went great, they were just better than expected. I've put Jade Cargill in here. Um, it's getting better, very, very minorly. Maybe not. Um, uh, maybe I'll retract that statement. Will come the next pay per view. Yeah, for the position she's been put in, it's just every single time. I think particularly because I remember I said it. I think Stu said it, and you agreed. I'm pretty certain was when it came to her Queen of the Ring final. We were like, you can't have a bad match with Asuka, and she went out and had a bad match with Asuka. And it was awkward, and it's just it's more for the business because that's the thing. You can look. There's maybe potentially worse in-ring performers, even I don't know about, particularly as you said, maybe from the likes of LFG. But for the position she's currently in as the WWE Women's Champion, a focal point on SmackDown, not that you actually see her doing anything other than being hit by a kendo stick by Michin. I've got Jade Cargill chucked in there for me. And Stu here, yeah, he's got Zelina Vega. I mean, her US Championship reign
Yeah.
was it great? I think I feel bad because she's got some good behind her, but she's definitely way better on the mic as a mouthpiece, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Jade and Zelina, I can agree with. I like Selena, but
Yeah,
man,
I feel bad saying it.
yeah, I know. I really do like Selena, but she hasn't been that good this year.
No.
I thought her winning the Women's US title was going to be really good for her,
Yep.
and I was excited for her, and it just didn't happen to be anything good. Like I even posted on Instagram, be like, oh, I'm so happy for Zelina, and
Yep.
then she disappointed
Yep.
everybody with the rain. Well, it was mainly the writing and the booking, but like, um, I don't think she performed that well in matches. Um, and I think I'm going to be talking about Zelina a little bit later on as well, actually. Um, so we have the best ring work of the year. Um, so I have a couple listed here. I have Io Sky listed, who is probably I've considered her taking the cake on this one. I also have
Yep.
Javon Evans. He's just so much fun to watch. He's just so damn
Yep.
good at everything he does. I have Gunther on here because apparently people don't realize how good Gunther is. But he is really, really good. So.
The quote is boring somehow.
Yeah, apparently. Um, and I have Kendall Gray on here as well.
Good shout.
So I because man, she is so damn good. I like she has the brightest future ahead of her
Oh yeah.
to come. She's so good. I think I'm either gonna give this to Io or Javon though.
Well, that's a good. That's quite funny considering what's coming up for me and Stu. Chucked in here. Yeah, some of the honorable mentions I've got. Yeah, Gunfor. I've got here. You know me. I love me some Gunfor. One I've chucked in here as well, and we only got him for the first 3 months of the year, but he was that goddamn good that he still makes this list for me. Kevin Owens, because if Kevin hadn't got injured this year, I think he was on for a monster of a year.
Yeah.
Which sucks so much to look at and think about. And then next to Kevin, yet one you've mentioned, Io Sky, she very closely could have taken us for me. One that I chalked in here because of how impressive she's been. Actually, I'm going to chalk. I've only got the one name written down here, but I'm going to chalk in both women in here for the feud. I've got Becky Lynch. I'm going to chalk Lyra in here as well. They've both been really, really solid this year. Particularly Becky. I've chucked in Elio just because the United States Championship reign has been his every match on SmackDown is just ridiculous
Yeah.
that he has. But the one that I'm giving it to is a guy you have already mentioned, and that is Javon. As you said, he's so captivating to watch. He's been an absolute workhorse. He's all over the shot from TNA to NXT. Then he's on Raw, then he's on SmackDown, then he's on AAA. And then he's doing what he's on PLEs and all. The guy is an absolute machine, and every match, even the matches that are a bit all over the place and a bit sloppy. Like for instance, that tag match at Halloween Havoc he had with Mr. Guan and La Parka.
Yeah.
The match was a bit. I think it was just maybe a language barrier or whatever, but the stuff he was still doing in that ring was insane. Um, so for me, I'm going to give it to Javon, and quite funny as I mentioned, the two that you couldn't decide between Io and Javon. Stu's giving it to Io and I can't argue
Yeah, she has been
that.
so good. Like it's very arguable that she is the best wrestler, male or female, on
Oh yeah,
the roster. So, yeah, obviously you can't argue with Io Sky being on that list.
yep.
Um, we also have best and worst mic work of the year. So for worst, I have once again Jey Uso, because he says the same thing every single promo. Anyone from LFG or Evolve, really, like there's a couple exceptions, but for the most part, it's not good. It's generic, like, oh, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be in the WWE. I've loved this as a kid, and it's the same bullshit every single time. Nikki Bella, I have on this list as well. Um, and I also have Ilya Dragunov on this list as well. I don't think he's that good on the mic. He's good in the
Yeah,
ring,
yeah.
but I don't think he's that good on the microphone or promos. I feel like he also rambles a little bit too much as well. Um, so yeah, I have Ilya on here. I'd probably give this to Jey Uso if I had to pick somebody because he says the same thing every single promo.
Yeah, Jay was a great shout there for because I think most of them, even the Elio one, I'll agree with you on. It's not his strong suit at all. Some of the other ones I've chucked in there, Jade Cargill again, long it's just not got much better.
Yeah.
From when she was babyface. Niall, but just because there's something about Niall's voice, the whininess of it really irritates me. Maybe that's the point. One in here that I know, I'm glad Stu isn't here so he can't shout at the two of us. I've put Kalani Jordan. Um,
Yeah.
oh God, she almost won here. But the person I've gone for is more because of the implication that he has, and you'll know what it is. This is us talking about it. The implication he has on the group, and basically how much of it, how much he takes out of the group. I've put Cutler James because when Dark State cut a promo, we say it. There's some good there. They're really hyped up, really aggressive, and then he speaks, and it just completely derails it for me. And that's not something you want for your big bad faction on NXT. So sorry, Cutler, once again. I'm going for you.
Yeah, we're gonna come from behind and hit you in the butt. Like what? Like,
Point proven. Exactly. It's the worst. And what one Stu's got down here, I've actually completely forgotten this. And I mean, it's SmackDown. He's talking about SmackDown from the most recent weeks, which I mean is pretty forgettable. So that's why I probably forgot it. He's put Uncle Howdy from SmackDown last week.
oh yeah.
I I think I remember. I need to go back and listen to it, but I'll go for your opinion here that it wasn't great.
Yeah, when I had Stu on the Kayfabe recap last
Mhm.
week, we talked about this actually, and we were in agreement that that promo from Uncle Howdy was not good. It just seemed like he looked very confused, and he just seemed lost out there, during that segment. So yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah, in general, the White Six promos have just not been the greatest.
Yeah.
For best though, it would be a crime if I didn't have CM Punk on this list. It's when he's fired up, it's always a good promo from CM Punk. And, you know, when he actually tries. Um, this one is a little bit weird because the past few weeks he's gotten better, but overall he still kind of messes up a little bit and jumbles a little bit. Braun Breaker, he's gotten better the past couple weeks, but before that it was kind of iffy. He didn't have the best mic work. Um, so I have Braun Breaker on here because he's been getting better. Um, I have Obafemi on here because every time he delivers on the microphone,
Yeah, that's a good
he's
one.
so good. And obviously, this being his final year, John Cena delivered on the microphone every single time, because that's just what Cena does. So I
Yeah.
have those four listed for best. I'd probably go with CM Punk because he had a lot of memorable promos this year.
Yeah, you can't argue. I'm the same. Cena and Punk got written down because why? You can't not have them. Again, a couple of other ones I've got chalked in here. Kevin Owens, once again, if we got him for the full year, I think he was on for a hell of a year. I've got Dom for maybe a bit of a different reason because I just love Dom getting booed out the building, him just shouting in Spanish. I mean, when he got to see him against John Cena holding his own in there, it's a lot improved. So he's not the one I've gone for, just an honorable mention. Um, Ethan Page, I put in there because I think he's just amazing on the mic every time. Uh, two I've put down here, one you've mentioned. I've put Braun Breaker and Gunther for just their one promo that they've cut each.
Yeah.
Braun's one on Raw, and then Gunther's one after retiring John Cena because they were generational for me. So I know it's kind of a joke, but the one that I've gone for because of how, again, I've also tried to like not give the same, if possible, the oh, I've tried to spread out my awards so like multiple different people get it. But for one who's really impressed me this year again is someone who again she's always been incredible, but this year she's just been on another level. I've given it to Becky Lynch.
Mm.
I think she's been incredible, also in the ring, but on the mic as well, carrying, telling her story. The stuff she did in the ring with like Punk and all that, I thought was fantastic. Her stuff on Twitter is hilarious. Just for something a bit different, I've chucked in Becky Lynch um into that mix, and then yeah, for Stu again, can't argue with this one. He's gone for John Cena, particularly the pipe bomb because it's John Cena. He's literally one of the best to ever do it in the mic. You cannot argue.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, in agreement with that one. A lot of good people on the mic this year. Now probably the one of the biggest like topics in wrestling at the end of each year, the best and worst match of the year. So this is gonna wrap up the technical awards, so the first part of these end of year awards. So I have three written down, and there's probably much more, but like if the match was like and it was like fine, I didn't write it down. It's only if the match was like really bad. I wrote it down. So I have a more recent one, the mixed tag on SmackDown between Rhea and Priest versus Black and Zelina. I That was just not a good match all around. They had a rough go at it. I have so this is funny because of when we get into the best matches. But I've Cena versus Cody at WrestleMania 41. Um, God awful match, god awful WrestleMania main event for the stakes that it was supposed to be for. They underperformed entirely. I also have Chelsea Green versus Alina Vega for the Women's U.S. title at Saturday night's main event.
Yeah,
Not a
yeah,
good
yeah.
match. I didn't enjoy that one. But yeah, that's on my list for worst. I don't know what I'd give the cake to. It's probably going to be Cena and Cody.
Yeah, I've got similar. Definitely that Chelsea is the one is a good shout. Yeah, Cena Cody WrestleMania got to be in there. The other one, it's really funny looking at my best and worst here. It's quite ironic. But for the worst, for me, just for what it meant. Again, kind of surprised it wasn't on your list. Brock's, because what the fuck was that when it happened? That was god awful. I think as well, it pissed me off because it just made zero sense. I'll try to tell the story of what they were going for. Um, and at least like the Cena and Cody at WrestleMania, they had the build going into Mania. We could see what they were going for. Obviously, we were all wondering the wings, all the shit that happened slash didn't happen with The Rock and Travis Scott. This Brock thing just we went on, and I think the thing that pisses me off more about it, and we'll get onto this in another later rendition of um talking about things on these awards either today or tomorrow. It's also they put that match on first on WrestlePalooza because of freaking AEW's all out at the time, and
Yeah.
I switched over from what was the main event that Hangman and Fletcher was it maybe.
For All Out, yeah, that was Hangman and
Yeah.
Fletcher.
I switched over from a fantastic Hangman and Fletcher match to watch Cena and Brock because why wouldn't I? It was Cena and Brock, and I was delivered with utter shit. One of the worst matches I've ever seen. Made zero sense. The Cena and Cody match disappointed me. The Cena and Brock match angered me, and that's why I've gone for it over Cena and Cody in here. And Stu, weirdly enough, unfortunately, Will, I've got his notes. It's cut off. I can't see the bottom, and it's not on any other pages. So I don't know
Oh,
what Stu's gone for.
oh, that's unfortunate. Um, But yeah, they're in a complete agreement because as somebody who went to All Out and had a fantastic time after a fantastic show, I came home, I had to watch WrestlePalooza, and I went to sleep because what I that was terrible. So yeah, there was that. For best matches of the year, I have a couple things written down, quite a few things. I always like Royal Rumbles. I'm not gonna go with it, but I like the Royal Rumble this year.
Yeah,
Royal Rumbles are always my favorite. I enjoy watching
yeah,
them. Um, I have Cena versus Cody at SummerSlam,
yep,
because that was a really good match. They had a bad match at WrestleMania, but they got their lick back at SummerSlam,
yep,
and performed well there. Both TLC tag team matches that happened
mm,
were really good.
yep.
So I
Love them.
enjoyed those. Um, I have Bailey and Lyra versus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair on Raw of October
Yeah,
27th.
yeah, yeah. Yep.
Really good match there. I love that. Sammy versus KO at the Elimination Chamber was a great match. We talked about that earlier. So good. I have Io versus Rhea versus Bianca at WrestleMania 41. Great match there. Io versus Rhea at Evolution, and then they had the cash in after.
Mm,
I feel like if the cash in didn't happen, I probably would have given it to Io and Rhea at Evolution. But either way, it was still a good match. I have the men's Money in the Bank match that happened this year. I enjoyed that one. That was quite the lineup that they had. Um, and to ruffle some feathers, I've put Cena versus Gunther on this list because I actually really enjoyed that match. I think it was a good match,
Yeah,
and I think it was
great match.
written perfectly, and they did that perfectly. So I've seen on Gunther on here. I don't know what I'm gonna give this to be honest. Maybe Cena versus Cody. It had the biggest stakes. So maybe that, but yeah, that's my list for best matches of the year.
Cool, cool. Again, I'm happy because we've missed off one that I'm going to go for. But some of my honorable mentions, yeah, I've said KO and Sammy Elimination Chamber. What a match! The Elimination Chamber itself, actually, what was fantastic. Though the better both ones. KO and Cody, Royal Rumble, and as we talked about earlier, fantastic. Ladder match. Again, that's what I mean. Like, if Kevin Owens hadn't got injured, I think he was on for a hell of a year, which sucks so much. Yeah, Rio versus Io Bianca WrestleMania, absolutely chucked in there. Javon Evans and Obafemi NXT Heatwave, I thought it was an incredible match. Um, Cena Cody SummerSlam chucked in here. Then the match that I would say probably from a technical standpoint is my favorite, and that's Rio and Io at Evolution 2.
Hmm.
That from a technical standpoint for me, but the match that made me just become an 8-year-old wrestling fan again was Cena and AJ at Crown Jewel, and that's what I've gone for here. Like just for how it emitted emotions in me, and loved Rhea and Io, but the emotion I felt watching Cena and AJ Styles was like nothing I've experienced for a long, long time. It literally was the perfect love letter to wrestling, chucked in there, so I had to go for it.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't write that one down. Yeah, absolutely. Cena versus AJ is definitely a good mention. So yeah, I could have swore I wrote that one down, but apparently not. Um, yeah, and I assume we don't have stews for that one as well. Uh,
Unfortunately, we don't have Stews. We'll pretend that it was we'll go for the women's matches because we did it. We didn't.
yeah. Although I think he did like the Cena versus Cody match at SummerSlam.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, so oh well, we'll say that's his pick potentially. But that is going to conclude part one of these end of the year awards, the technical awards for WWE. We will be back with the with part two, which is the written awards or the writing awards. So stay tuned for that. We're more than likely going to record it right after this, but it'll probably like drop tomorrow or something. I'll release them all separately or whatever. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Keep your notifications on. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already. Check out the Discord server, the TikTok page, all that good stuff. I'm gonna keep self promo to a limitation for these videos because you're gonna be hearing my voice a lot. Yeah, make sure you guys check out all that good stuff out. That's all in the link down below, or description down below. So check that out, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.